Hey, Johnnie Roberts, welcome back to another great episode of your podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you doing, man?
Unbelievable. It is great. It's springtime, and the flowers are blooming, the rain's coming, and things are happening, and things are growing. And you've got a hat on today. What's going on with your baseball hat,
Oh
man?
man, it's not just springtime. It's also we got camping going on. But what's really cool here in Detroit area, man, the Tigers are having a really solid season, and so they, of course, they made the playoffs last year. If you're a sports
Yeah,
fan, by a phenomenal push at the end of the year. So what was it going to be for real? And so far this year, man, they've just they're fighters, and it's exciting, man. So the fever around here for baseball is pretty high. So, um, yeah, so man, I'm wearing my Tigers gear. I've always liked them, but it's been about 10, 12 years since they were really competitive.
yeah.
And so yeah, man, they're doing great.
Isn't
They've
it?
had the best record in baseball different times this year. So, um, yeah, man, we're excited. So, got that
It
going on. So nothing like baseball, hot dogs, and what's the other thing? Baseball, hot dogs, and
Apple pie and
apple pie. Yeah.
Chevrolet. We could
So,
probably sing it to you, man. I heard that song so much growing up on TV. The other
yes.
one that I really liked, and this has nothing to do with retirement planning, is My Baloney Has a First Name. It's OSCAR. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that
I
is
love
cool.
that little kid on the dock, and how's that?
Bologna is the one thing I never liked.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like it even as a kid. I remember the
Oh
song,
man,
but
I have,
man,
I have.
one weird thing before we get into this
Yeah.
is, you get school lunches and stuff like that. There was some kids at the school I went to that had peanut butter and marshmallow sandwiches.
Peanut
And
butter.
I tried one time and it
I
was,
don't know if
I
I'd
couldn't
do
handle it.
that.
I don't really like marshmallows, believe it or not. I'd like them on like the s'mores thing when you cook
Uh
them with
huh.
the,
Oh
ever seen
yeah.
that? Oh,
That's
isn't
about the
that
only way I
weird?
like it.
Peanut butter and marshmallow,
That seems very weird. Yeah, it's like Rocky Road ice cream has marshmallow. I just never got into that. It's a personal thing. Um, yeah, I don't know if I'd like that or not.
No, yeah, it's we can talk about food this whole time, man. Talk about ice cream. My favorite still, believe it or not, is actually, and I love it in the summer, Superman ice cream. It
Superman ice cream.
yeah, you go to the places and they'll dip it out. It's like blue, yellow, and red or
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like his
yeah, yeah.
costume, but they've had it since I was little. Now my grandson loves it. It's his favorite, Superman
Oh,
ice
that's
cream.
great.
So
Isn't
does my
that fun?
son-in-law actually. He loves it too. So
You got some good
we're
boys
really
there, then.
proud.
Yes,
Your tongue will be blue and red after you're done with it, but it's still really good.
it's still great stuff, and it's well. Let's talk about some other great stuff, right? Let's talk about retirement planning and some of the things that maybe your Superman ice cream needs to be in place to protect our audience from. Because I think Johnny, when people start thinking about retirement, they usually think about their big nest egg and the money they have, and we've done a lot of episodes around all of that. But three things that they probably aren't thinking about too much that they need to are, well, I the show. What's the show? The Wizard of Oz. Remember the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, and all that.
Oh yeah.
They had a lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Right is what Dorothy would say. Today
Hmm.
we're gonna title this taxes, inflation, and healthcare. Oh my! Because I really think taxes, inflation, and healthcare are three big areas that people need to plan for as they're preparing to retire at new heights, right? As they're thinking about retirement, you've got to be looking at these and preparing to protect yourself. Otherwise, they could just eat your lunch. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely. I think that um we always feel that like retirement planning, really your biggest thing you need to really think about first is taxes because everything kind of trickles down from there. Taxes could affect Medicare, what your payment is for that. It could affect obviously Social Security situations. Um, so all those big things, and then inflation as well, right? Am I gonna
Yeah,
be paying more in taxes, which is gonna cost me money that I don't have to get rid of, because if you can lower your tax bill, that's like giving yourself a raise. You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? If you can correct that during retirement. So, and what does a raise do? It helps you offset inflation.
Yeah,
So, those three things are absolutely critical to full retirement planning. I'm not just talking about saving money and having a retirement account. There's a
right.
difference. And so one of the things we try to talk about in a lot of our classes and seminars, as well as if we meet with folks individually, are taxes, income planning, inflation, which is all
Yeah,
part of that. And it ties into Medicare. And we actually have a gentleman that works on our team with us. It's a partner that really helps. He's been an independent Medicare health specialist for years.
Yeah.
And so we always recommend him to help people out if they get into those areas for sure, because man, it's huge. Health
The, the
insurance is one of those things that's going up. It just goes up.
yeah,
Costs are not going down, you know.
right.
So,
And not only the cost factor, Johnny, but especially when you get into Medicare and all of that, is the complexity of it all. You need somebody who's been at it for a long time, who really understands the different plans and options, and which one of those is best suited for your specific family situation, right?
oh, it is because uh, generally two things happen when you get older, you know. You either kind of die unexpected or you just get sick and you
Yeah,
let live longer and eventually you die. And so with getting older, generally, there are what? More medications, more health issues, and if we're not, or potentially long-term care issues. But if we're not kind of managing that right and have an idea of where we're headed with that type of thing, man, the prescription costs and different things like that can be outrageous. You know, my father and my father-in-law, my father's passed now, but they both had diabetes, and the cost of insulin is outrageous, you
mm,
know. And so, if you have a certain illness or something, it's like you're singled out, like, okay, you're going to have to pay a lot more money because you have this
right,
illness,
right.
um, along those lines. And so, man, if you're not prepared for that, you go your whole life without having something like that. And all of a sudden, 68, you're diagnosed, and hello, now there's $400 a quarter extra you got to pay, or 800, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So, being prepared for that is huge on the health side of things.
right.
Um,
And
Absolutely.
you can plan for it, because I know some of the products you offer have and we've talked about this in previous episodes. They have different riders and things that can help supplement income at various times, and they can help cover some of these expenses. And you've got, when we talk about inflation, I remember one time we did an episode on different annuities and how you ladder them at different times they kick in to give you a raise, because inflation is going to happen, taxes are going to happen, healthcare is going to happen. Retirement is a whole lot more. I love how you just said that it's, having a pot full of money isn't a retirement plan. You've got to, because that pot full of money can drain very quickly with some unexpected situations that come up. And I know some of your clients have had things like that happen, and you do your best to protect them. And as you create a good retirement plan, it's looking at all of these different areas, right?
Oh, absolutely, because there are different products, and annuities are one awesome vehicle that if people, they fit certain people's portfolios for sure to add to it, because what can they can provide? Something that no other money vehicle, except for like at a bank or CD or something, can provide, and that's guarantees, but long-term potential guarantees
Right.
but also some upside potential, but it can provide guaranteed income. It can provide long-term care help along those lines. So there's so many cool things that you can utilize if you money with a purpose, take a certain amount of money that I'd like to make sure this does this. It'll help with my inflation costs down the road. Could help with some of those health issues if you need assisted living down the road. A lot of those things you can kind of prepare for ahead of time, as well as begin to transition some of that money that you have that's in like a traditional IRA
Yep.
into Roth IRAs, and do some tax planning to begin to prevent some of those taxes from hitting you. Because anytime you can keep more of your money, whether it's through taxes, healthcare costs, anytime you keep more of it, you've given yourself a raise.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
and so one thing we talk about that it's in all of our seminars, and I think it's important, and everyone's hand always goes up, is we want to maximize income, minimize taxes. That should be
Mm,
everyone's objective for retirement. How do I
oh,
get as much money as I can and keep as much as I can?
yeah,
You know, so there's so many unnecessary things going on where people are, man, whether it's $4 or $5 a year that they could keep, it could be higher than that,
yeah,
whatever it may be. There are so many areas you can look at and say, okay, this will help me give myself a
right.
raise when I didn't think I could,
That's
you
right.
know.
And
And
it's
so,
and all of that's possible when you just sit down with Johnny and his team, and they just look at your situation, and they talk about what are you wanting to do in retirement, sharing your vision, your dreams of retirement. And a lot of people don't think they can get there, but I know, Johnny, with the way you do your retirement planning with your clients, and the different products and things that are that you have available to you for your clients, it's easier now to help people achieve that. And as you wrote in your book, Retire at New Heights, you can actually help people retire at heights they didn't think they were able to, because they're only looking at one piece of the puzzle, the statement. And you have ways to leverage that in different ways that are really safe, secure, that provide so many other benefits, especially as we think about taxes, inflation, and healthcare. Oh my. Well, don't get panicked. Just reach out and have a conversation with Johnny, and begin a conversation to go, what can we do here? We think we're behind the eight ball. Maybe you're not. And maybe retiring is going to be a lot more beneficial than you might think. But it all starts with a conversation with you, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I think that the role I look at is getting information, meeting with people, seeing what's going on, and then we have a team that we can attack taxes with, attack Medicare or health situations with, and come up with some planning for all these things, inflation or whatever. So it's we just in investments that are properly ran based on your risk mentality and what your money needs to do for you long term. So it's not just about, I always say this, not just about having money. It's not retirement. There's a bunch of different avenues that we need to look at, most folks need to look at to be like, man, I don't have that base covered. Like baseball, right?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
a better chance of scoring runs if the bases are loaded versus if you just have someone on first base or just someone on the plate.
Yeah.
So how do we cover all the bases? At least take a look at what's going on and see if there's things there that are concerning and trying to come up with a plan to help folks out.
That's right. And that baseball analogy comes true when you go to retireatnewheights.com. That's Johnny's website. You'll get a free copy of his book by the same title. Just read about what he's got going, how he approaches everything. You can schedule an appointment with Johnny right there, and just have that first call, that conversation where you get to ask lots of questions and see, is this guy legit? Is he really as good as he says he is? And maybe he can cheer you on. You guys can go to a Tiger game. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh man, that'd be
That'd
awesome.
be great. So,
Absolutely. Love it.
Johnny, thanks for the time today talking about another aspect of retirement and what people need to understand as they plan for taxes, inflation, and healthcare. Oh, my. Looking forward to another great episode with you here next week. Take care, buddy.
You too. Thanks, Mike.